Welcome everyone, Frank DeMore here, Last Chronicles of Planet Earth YouTube channel. Please go over to my website there, the BibleProphecyMan.com, and you'll get the latest news and the videos. Some of the news that you won't see, on my YouTube channel. Now, today I was talking about the connection in the Bible prophecy concerning Iran and Russia. And what I'd like to do is to get into something else now, some other news that just broke out that I want to connect that with today's news of February the 14th. As you can see here from the news on the 14th coming out of Israel, it says that the Israel keeping U.S. in the dark on Iran attack. Now, according to this article, it says and I'm reading right from it. It says, according to the article, Israel stops sharing plans regarding Iran in its response to Obama's May 2011 speech calling Israel to negotiate peace with Palestinians based on the 1967 lines. Now, this is where Barack Obama ticked off Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu because in 1967 there was a war, and in that war Israel captured the Temple Mount in East Jerusalem. And it was the first time in 2,000 years that Israel had control of where the first and the second Jewish temple stood. It was a major milestone in prophecy, and it really, if you will, it had ignited the situation for the Psalm 83 war, which is coming up. So anyway, it goes on to say the Mossad head Tamar Paydu's visit to Washington around 2 weeks ago was meant to evaluate how the United States would react if Israel decided to attack Iran's nuclear facilities on its own. The Newsweek magazine reported this week. A senior American official quoted in the story said that Paydu's had to come to Washington to check the pulse of the Obama administration and to ascertain the degree to which Washington opposes an Israeli strike. And according to the report, Paydu posed a number of questions during his talks with the senior administration officials, including what military preparations are being made with regard to Iran. In America willing to attack Iran? That's a good question. What would be the significance of Israel doing so on its own? Now, Paydu's visit was exposed last month by this Middle East news organization after a top U.S. official during the public hearing in the Senate mentioned having met with him earlier in the week in Washington. The Senate hearing was broadcast live in American television. And then it goes on to say that Israel has also asked President Barack Obama several times for guarantees that if sanctions against Iran do not work, the United States would attack its nuclear facilities, but to date the administration has made no such comment on the report. Now, earlier today I showed you an article on what the Russians had to say. Any attack against Iran would be considered an attack on Russia. So I don't think the Americans would attack knowing that it would be a provocation of war in the eyes of Russia, which would eventually start the World War III, as that I pointed out one of my earlier videos for February 14th at my website, which is BibleProphecyMan.com. So what do we have here? Well, essentially what we have here is, when we take a look at the view, let's go right up there and view it so you can see what's going on here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Essentially what we have is that Israel, and I said this before, but just in case I do have the new people, when Israel, let's go back. There you go. Where's my map? There it is. essentially now knowing what this Newsweek article said, what are the response? What is Israel's in Washington? They want to see what's going to happen if they attack Israel or attack Iran. And so what we have here now is my scenario looks more and more feasible every day, because I don't believe that the United States will engage in bombing Iran, because it's just too precarious and causes Pandora's box to open up and really could ignite World War III. So I think that would be the most probable scenario. Would Israel would attack by themselves, knowing that nobody else is going to watch out for Israel, so they're going to have to do it themselves. They'll go in, hit the nuclear facility, and that is going to, like I did a couple days ago, I said that it would tick off Israel's enemies around them, which would include Syria, Lebanon, the Palestinians, the Saudi Arabia, and some of these other nations, Iraq, that are mentioned in the Psalms 83 war. But all of these events are tied in together, and so when you see that Israel's in the United States trying to figure out what'll happen, I really believe that Israel will do it alone. I believe that they're going to have to do it alone. And as you see here, what would be the significance of Israel doing this on its own? Well, it would guarantee an attack on Israel. Maybe not right away by the Russians, because we know that the Ezekiel 38 war comes after the Somme war, but it will definitely, I think, spur on the Palestinians and all of Israel's enemies that border them to go in and try to take them out. So this is very significant news when we're talking about prophecy.